Happy Friday, everyone. Let's go ahead and solve some algorithms today. So we're gonna go ahead and start out with some Code Wars. I love Code Wars. Sometimes it's nice to go back and brush up on any fundamentals that you need to go ahead and work on. So let's see. I want to see if we can work on some fundamentals today. Okay, let's go ahead and start out with this. Just training JS number 6, basic data types, Boolean, and Boolean stands for true or false, and conditional statements is if this condition is true, do this, else do this. So in JavaScript, Boolean only has two values, true or false. So you can use strictly equal, loosely equal, greater than or less than between two variables, or a constant. The result of such expression is a bool value. The operation between the two values can be used with logical operators and, or, I think this one means like the opposite, or some bitwise operators. And many of the data are likely to be implicitly converted to Boolean values in a given context, most common in conditional statements. In other words, the Boolean value is mainly used for conditional judgment. Look at this example. So if r.length is, so this is saying if this is truthy, return r has elements. Else, if it's not empty, or this one says that if there's something in there that adds a link to the array, that means it's true, then return that r has elements. Else it's falsy, so return that r is empty. You can see that r is defined as an array. R.length should be a number value, because if you didn't know, .length is a property of array, and it will give you the exact length of elements that are in there in the array. But in this example, the number value should convert to bool value. It means that if r.length value is 0, convert value to false. If r.length is not 0, convert it to true. So these values are converted to false in the conditional statement. So anything that's 0, negative, are empty, string, null, undefined, not a number, those are defined as false. So coding in this function, true or false, it accepts one parameter, a value. Try to use the conditional statement, if else, if val is false, or it can convert to false, should return a string false. If not, return true. When you have finished, click Run Test to see if your code is working properly, then click Submit. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so they already have the if-else statement set up for us. I just want to go ahead and write some notes to get us prepared and ready. Okay, so here we're going to receive a value, which is an integer. Oh, it could be an integer, or it could be true or false. So it's a little of anything and everything. Okay, so so excuse that integer. It's not technically an integer, so we're going to receive a value. We need to return false. If it is a falsy value, else true. If it doesn't show up as false, then it's going to be a truthy value, so we're going to return true. So if I have a value, okay, so their example right here. Okay, so say for instance, I'm gonna go ahead and create an example, and I'm gonna pass in, what's a great example? Let's do a equals 5, 4 equals, b equals 4. And here, I'm gonna go ahead and say, is it true or false? If a is greater than b, this should return true because as you can see here that 5 is greater than 4. You can do another test just for sure. A does not equal, lowercase a does not equal b, which should return true. The condition of this when it should return false is that if b is greater than a, that's when true or false. B is greater than a, which is not true because we know for sure that 4 is not greater than 5, so this should return false. Alright, let's go ahead and code this up. Alright, so if blank, return blank, else return blank. If val, if this is true, return true, else it will return false. Return false. I'm gonna attempt. Awesome. Okay, so one thing about this though is that one way we can make it a little bit more into one line is if you turn it into a ternary operator. And with ternary operators, ternary means that it's composed of 3 things derived from the Latin roots. And what those 3 things are is the condition itself. Ternary is the condition, and if this is it's a question mark, then this is where it's the true. If this condition is true, we're gonna do this. Else, we're gonna do this, which is the false part. And here we can say that if val is true, then we're gonna say true, else false. If val, oh sorry, I never said return. Return val, if the val is true, then return true, else return false. Yep, this is a way to say that, yeah, based on the condition, if it's truly, it will return true, else we're gonna default to false. Oh, you can do a boolean val to string. Huh. I'm trying to think like of the use cases of that. Is that useful to do? Would I ever do anything like that? A boolean val to string? I don't think I would, because I still like to make sure to check through conditions. Because it doesn't make sense to boolean a val. I feel like that's cheating. I feel like that's cheating. Because we're not even checking through the conditions. But yeah, if there's any use cases for it, feel free to let me know. I love to learn a lot more about it. I'm not sure, like, on top of my head right now, I don't see any use cases for it, but if you do know, feel free to let me know as well. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and do another one. So Leonardo, DiCaprio, and Oscars. So if Oscar was integer, you have to return Leo and the Oscar. Why would they make fun of Leonardo DiCaprio like this? That's hate. That's hate. If Oscar was 86, you had to return not even for Wolf of Wall Street. If it was not 88 or 86 and below 88, you should return when will you give Leo an Oscar. If it was over 88, you should return Leo should get one already. So based on this statement here, I want you to think like majority of functions contains a lot of if statements or for loops. So definitely we're gonna do some work on if statements here. Okay, so we're gonna receive an integer for Oscar. Then based on the integer receive, we need to return. Based on the integer receive, we need to return a specific saying back. So return. So if the integer was 88, return this. Else, if the integer was 86, return else if it's less than 88, if the integer is less than 88 or over 80, less, if it was not 88 or if it was not 86 or 88, you should return, or less than 86, return else anything over 88, please return this. Oops. Okay. So as you can see, based on here, I kind of pseudocoded it already, because so based on the age that gets passed in, different statements will be printed out. Will be printed out. So okay, let's see here. So if I did 52, if I pass in Oscar Leo of 52, I anticipate Leo of 52 will be, Leo of 52 was 88, was 86, is less than 88, so this should give me back. When will you give me? And then also, if you didn't know, you can modify all the tests in here. And here is what I am anticipating. I'm gonna add in this test. When will you give Leo and Oscar? Okay, this one I want to copy over. Okay, so I'm gonna throw that into the test there. It didn't like it, huh? Okay, what if I clean it up like this? Okay, it does like it. Okay. I still like that. Okay, so we pass in our example of 52. We're anticipating that it will give Leo and Oscar. Okay, so let's go ahead and write this out. If Oscar is equal to 88, in integer of 88, we're gonna say, hey, return Leo 1 in Oscar. Return Leo 1 in Oscar, else, okay, else if Oscar is equal to 86, return, oops, not even for Wolf of Wall Street, else if Oscar is greater than 88, we'll get 1. Okay, let's go ahead and test it out. Did I break it? Leo, okay, so 52, when will you give Leo and Oscar? It doesn't like that. When will you give Leo and Oscar? Oh, because you know what? I am missing a string. Invalid. Oh no! Okay, I think I fixed it. Thank you for auto-saving that. Okay, accept my test. Oh, that can be fixed. We did it. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain it to you. Let's go ahead and go through my example that I used for 52. Are we saying that is 52 strictly equal to 88, which is false? So then it's going to keep going down these if conditions, and it's going to say, hey, is 52 strictly equal to 86, which it isn't. So we're going to keep going. else if the fit is 52 greater than 88, which it isn't. So we're going to keep going down the if loops. So we're going to keep going down to the if statement. And the reason why I put this else at the end is because it will catch all the ages that are less than 88. Instead of having to write else if Oscar is and stuff like that, I can just say, hey, else, everything else, you're less than 88, because we took care of anything greater and we took care of that. My only thing, in between 86 and 88, what will that equal? Let me see if that would break. It doesn't break. But if between 86 and 88, if Oscar was 86, I don't know. It doesn't tell you, because if the age was strictly 88, it would be this. If it's strictly 86, make it this. If it's not in between, if it's not 88, less than 88 or 86, then you should return this. So I don't think there's a edge case against that. If it's equal to 88, if it's equal to 86, or it's less than. I always love reading the code because you get different ideas of how people like to phrase things. And this one is a conditional statement. They did multiple conditional statement. I do like it how they break it out into lines like this, because it does help to read it a lot better. Otherwise, sorry, I just had to fix my hair. Just gotta make sure. Yeah. So, but otherwise, I do like reading the switch cases, what kind of other items other people are using. So it's nice to see the switch cases, and then a break. So meaning like, hey, return, and don't keep going. Just stop right here, and we're gonna break out of the loop. Interesting. So, okay, so we're going to check, is it a number? Given a string S, write a method function that will return true if it's a valid single integer, a floating number, or false if it's not. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and understand what we're going to work on here. Okay, so we receive a string of integers and some numbers. I mean, not numbers, integers and some letters. I think you can do uppercase. I'm trying to pay attention to, like, because there are differences between a lowercase and uppercase letter. So I just want to make sure. So what we're going to do is return true if it is an integer, else return false. So if I do an example here, is digit of a string hi 5432 or 5425. This should return false. X is digit of 6.873. This should return true. So one thing that comes in top of my head is either using parseInt, or you want the parseInt function, or let me write these things down just in case if you ever need to see them again. ParseInt function that will take in the number, or you can do another function called number itself, and they do both take in strings, and the parseInt will turn that string into a number. ParseInt is different from parsefloat, because parseInt will turn it into a full number. But as you can see, we do have decimals here, so I wouldn't go with parseInt because I would probably go with number. So I would say return number of S. Oh. Expected not a number to equal false. I think there's a function. Okay, so I think there is also that returns true if it's a valid. Write a method function that will return true. What we can do is, I think it's called is not a number. Hi Elder, are you back in the States or are you still out in Sweden? Oh, I bet you miss your babies. Is not a number as, let's test this. Okay, so it's not a number. That's so funny. I think I had to do more research as to why it's called Meatball Land. It must be like 5 p.m. your time? 6, 7, 8? Okay, so is it a number? Oh, that's not too bad. 5 p.m. Is jet lag hitting you at all? I hope not. And that you adjusted your time there. I thought about it and I was like, I think I really want to travel abroad soon. You're gonna have to teach me how to work and how to work, how to get good Wi-Fi, and do I need a Wi-Fi thing set up. So yeah, you'll have to teach me. I did not know that. No, that does. Okay, you said Swedish meatballs. That made me think of IKEA Swedish meatballs because I know that IKEA loves doing Swedish meatballs. Ah, in eSIM. Wait, can you? Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me because I was wondering in eSIM. Because I recently switched phone providers and I think I had to go to get an eSIM or eSomething. I forgot what they said. But yeah. Is there IKEA better? Is that why? I didn't know. Okay, thinking about it is maybe IKEA has something to do with that. So given a string S, write a method that will return true if it's a valid single integer or floating number. Oh, okay. Parse return if parse int of S is true, false. Oh, killing me. Is there, okay. I don't think I closed them. I accidentally must have deleted it. Expected false equal false. Okay, you wanted true booleans and not string. I want to see if number will work. The Swedish embassy. I see. Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me all about it. I hope everything's flexible and you're having a lot of fun. I hope you get to travel to like neighbors countries too. So I see numbers or parse int would work. Because ultimately it seems like all they care for is a single integer or a floating number. So parse int or number would work. Oh, killing me. Okay, maybe not parse int, number. Let's do a number. Okay, so expected false equal true. Let's see. I think these basic tests are referring to these basic tests down here below. And it depends on which basic test. I don't know if it's talking about the top one or the bottom one. Okay, I assume it's talking about the bottom one because if you expected false to equal true, this is the only test that shows true. Okay, so I didn't like that. And when you think about floating numbers, I think about parse float. But I don't want to say number of S and then parse float of S to cover every cases. Is there a better way that can handle floating numbers? Because I know there's parse int and there is parse float. Float. And so the number function is only looking, so is a number function only looking at full numbers. Return number of s is true, and here you could say that you can add another conditional statement to oh, that didn't work. Okay, wait, let's think about it. Okay, so let's think about it a little bit more. Let me read the prompt a little bit to better problem solve this. So given a string s, so we're going to receive a string of integers, letters, and floats. Write a method that will return true if it is a valid single integer or a floating number. To know if something is a valid single integer, you could use the number function, the parseInt function for single integers. For whole numbers, floating numbers, you can use parseFloat to convert that string into an integer. Number s, or did I do that wrong? Because I'm saying, hey, here's the condition. Return if number of s right here is a number, then return true, else we're gonna check, hey, is parseInt float of s a number? True, else it's false. But when I did that, this turned false. Let me do it like this. If number of s, return true, else if return true if parse float of s is true, return true, else return false. So essentially this was what I was trying to do with that ternary operator. But I want to see expected true to equal false. Expected true to equal false. Expected true to equal false. I feel like, okay, I feel like this could be a lot easier. I feel like it has to do with something is not a number. I think this is the function. Function determines whether a value is not a number. If it's not a number, return false. Okay. Not a number, as return false. Else, if it's not a number, we know it is a number. We're gonna return true. Oh, no. Okay. So you're saying that expected true to equal false. So if you expected not a number is a very special meaning. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that? Yeah, I tried to look it up too. Oh, okay, so yeah, because you could, okay, so if I do the opposite, saying that it is a number, then you say return true, else return false. Okay, so past that. Okay, so we're stuck here. Basic test. You expected true to equal false. So somehow it turned true to equal false for this case. Like there is a value that's not a number. Like there is a value that's not a number. Let's see. Could you elaborate a little bit more what you mean by value that's not a number? Whether, let's see. function property of the global object. If the number is the value, not a number. When the argument is not a number, it's not type of number, the value is first coerced to a number in the resulting value. So a string isn't not a number. Not a number isn't an adjective. So is not a number is not applicable to string. There is a specific thing that's not a number. And when you say that specific thing is not a number, does that mean that let's see, it applies to a specific? Yes. Oh, I see. Kind of like 0 null is a very specific value. Oh, I see. Okay. So then is not a number will not work for this example then. I see. Okay. Oh, I see. So it's only looking for, okay, not a number. Okay, so what I did have before was if number of s. If when I convert, so the number function will convert the string. I see. Thank you for telling me and showing me that. So what I did have before was using the number function, that because I know that when a number function takes in a string, it's strictly looking for only if it's numbers included. If there's any letters or characters in it, it will return false. But okay, so if number of s, if you are truly a number, I anticipate you to return true, else return false. Oops, it's not string, it actually wants a Boolean value. And then if, but that only handles, this only handles whole numbers. So I have to consider any decimal integers as well, as you can see in that second test case. So here I'm going to return true, return false. So with parse float function, it takes into consideration any numbers that are floating. So any numbers with decimals instead of parse int takes into consideration any whole numbers. But when I run this, and I feel like this could be a lot cleaner, but when I run this, the test right here, it does pass, which is weird because then when I click attempt, it tells me I failed. So expected false to equal true. So this tells me that this right here, this second test case here failed. So that means that log s. This isn't the best one. At the top, probably you don't know what branch you are in. Do you mean at the top of this Codewars application? Is that what you're referring to? Console log s and thank you for letting me know. Oh, okay. Okay, so I do get some lower characters. Some of lowercase letters, and then integers. Integers. I think this is trying to say 3, -4, 3 with a lattice space of 4. Integers, floats, and then an integer. Because yeah, based on, so these are similar to what they had. So anything that's a whole number is true. Anything with spaces. Anything with spaces, did I take into consideration about that? is digit, 3 is a whole number. Yeah, you can actually. I think here you should be able to do custom test cases. Should I like wipe it out and rewrite it? Yeah, because you can add more var input. Did you want me to try it with a different input? We can do another different test case with that. Because I think we can do... Yeah, S234 test case. Okay. Let me, move that up a little bit. Did you want me to delete it, or did you want me to go ahead and add something else in it? How come it passed here, but it won't pass here? That's interesting, because they seem like they're still both basic tests. Add a new test case for 3, 4. Okay. Three, 4. 3 space 4. Yep, okay, 3 space 4. And with this test case, based on my knowledge, this should still return... Oh, it actually returns false based on this. I was gonna say true, but it should return false. Okay, so for when we test it, they do pass. Here, let's go ahead and attempt. Expected false to equal true. Let me attempt test. That is interesting. I see. Each line is a different test case. Okay, let's do 3 minus 4. Are you looking at the test when I click the test button, or are you looking at the test cases when I click attempt? Because when I do the test cases, it does pass, but it's only when I click attempt it doesn't pass. 3, 820. Okay. Oh, but so then attempt tests are different. Oh, I see. Okay. To your sample test window. No, that did work. The 3, 4. I don't know what happened. Wait, where did it go? All the console dialog S disappeared. Okay. Yeah, some reason. Okay, then I want to test this 34. Expected false to equal true. Expected false to equal true. Was it only testing the expected false to equal true? 34.65. That's my fault. As I was testing them, I didn't update whether it was true or false to the specific case. I left it as false. So this is true. and it didn't work. Because if you do, this one should have passed. That's interesting, because if you do a parse float, which this is a parse float, 34.65 of this string, it will convert it into a number, which should return true. Why did it return false? Bummer, it won't show me. Maybe I can just do it. Oops, sorry, not console.out. Console.log number of s. And then I want a console.log x. Oh, okay. We're getting somewhere. Okay, so when I console.log the number of s, it returns me not a number. Oh, okay. Hence why all of my stuff was failing. And then parse float of s is not a number. Okay, so but parse float does work. I can see, okay, so the first test edge case here, let me bring this back so I can kind of see what the examples were. Okay, so for S2324, when I did number of s and parse float of s, it's not a number. And that's not what I want. I don't want to check if it's not a number. Because in my head, what the number function was doing is it took in the string and will convert it into a number. But since but number of s, it can't take in any characters in the it can't take in any characters in the numbers. Hence why it returned not a number. That makes sense. Okay. So I want to see parse int. Oops. Okay, so parse int and parse float is still not a number for the first one. But parse int, as you can see here, when I did parse int, majority of the other test cases before converted over. But this S2324, and when you're not a number, you should return false. Okay, got me thinking. Okay, so I want to convert this to parse int. So I want to turn this into parse int. And parse int, in this case, if parse int, can I check the type of? Maybe that would work. Do I want to check the type of? If parse int equals, I don't feel like I even have to go that far. I want to see. Whoops. Okay, so if I say parse int opposite is not a number, then it's true. No, that's not what I want though, because I don't want to return true. I want to return false. Maybe I have to, if parse int of 5, I don't think I have to. Yeah, false, and this is true, but that, I feel like I'm cheating for this test case. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I think I'm cheating for that test case. I still strongly believe. Okay, so not a number. If not a number, do I need to cover it? If no, but I'm not trying to say if it isn't a number, return true. I wanted to return false. Is this an edge case? If number, if number of s, then return number of s. So that should return false. True. I don't like that either. I'll be right back. I have to log in, so be right